You think I'm crazy. Good. That means you're not paying attention. On December 10th, 2024, I said Palantir was going to $100 in 2025. People laughed, said I was insane. 2 months later, it hit $100. Roll the clip. Let me put it out there. I expect Palantir will hit $100 in 2025. I know what you're thinking. That's bold, but bold doesn't mean baseless. It means we're connecting the dots that most people ignore, and trust me, the dots are there. So now the same people are saying it's overvalued. Let me be clear, you're wrong. Palantir is not some tech company trading on hype. It's fundamentally reshaping how businesses and governments make decisions. And guess what? That's never going out of style. What people don't understand is that Palantir isn't just selling software. It's locking customers into a system they cannot leave. That's why companies keep spending more every year. That's why the US government, one of the most bureaucratic, slow-moving entities on the planet, is throwing money at them like they've got no choice. Because they don't. Palantir doesn't win deals. It takes over industries. And if you don't see it, you're the one getting left behind. The question isn't, is Palantir overvalued? The question is, how much higher does this go? Most people think Palantir is just another AI company. That's why they're broke. Palantir isn't selling AI. It's selling decision dominance. And that is the most valuable product on the planet right now. Governments, billion-dollar corporations, and institutions pay whatever it takes to be right before everyone else. That's why Palantir's customers don't just use their software, they build their entire operations around it. This isn't Microsoft Excel. This is a closed-loop AI system that makes decisions faster than any human can. The secret? The ontology framework. What does that mean? Simple. Most software tells you what happened. Palantir tells you what's going to happen and what you should do next. That's why the Pentagon, banks, and Fortune 500s are plugging Palantir into their critical systems, and why once they do, they never leave. And let's kill this DeepSeek hype right now. You think trillion-dollar companies are going to hand over their critical data and trade secrets to a company controlled by China? No chance. The US government bans Huawei, TikTok's under investigation, and you think Wall Street is trusting DeepSeek with proprietary data worth billions of dollars? Palantir is the only game in town, and that's why this stock isn't overvalued, it's just getting started. Have you ever noticed that people screaming Palantir is overvalued never actually look at the numbers? Let me make this painfully clear. Net income margin, 18%. That's higher than most SaaS companies. This thing is printing money. Revenue growth forecast, 26.2%. AI demand is skyrocketing and Palantir is at the center of it. Gross margins, 82%, and that's up from 68% in 2020. This company is scaling at a ridiculous rate. Compare that to most high-growth tech stocks bleeding cash. They dream of these margins. And don't even get me started on customer stickiness. Palantir's net revenue retention is 120%. That means customers aren't just staying, they're spending more every year. This isn't hype, this is math. Meanwhile, the so-called competition is burning money trying to catch up. DeepSeek, not happening. Snowflake, too expensive, too limited. Palantir dominates AI decision-making with zero real alternatives. That's why the biggest players in the world keep signing bigger contracts. The stock is up. Of course it is. And guess what? It's still cheap compared to where it's going. Overvalued? No. Underestimated? 100%. Everyone's talking about AI like it's some new trend. They're wrong. This isn't a trend. This is an arms race. Every major company, every government, every institution is scrambling to integrate AI. Not because it's cool, but because if they don't, they lose. And here's where Palantir has the ultimate edge. Most AI companies are dependent on external models. OpenAI, Google, DeepSeek, they all rely on specific large language models that can change overnight. Palantir, model agnostic. It doesn't matter which AI model wins. Palantir wins either way. Because Palantir doesn't just generate AI models, it integrates them, optimizes them, and makes them usable at scale. It doesn't just throw data at you, it tells you what to do with it. That's why billion-dollar institutions are choosing Palantir to build their AI infrastructure, because once it's in, it's going to last. Meanwhile, DeepSeek is dead on arrival. Let me make this simple. DeepSeek is backed by Chinese investors with ties to the Chinese Communist Party. That means any company that uses DeepSeek's AI risks exposing their data to the Chinese government. The US banned Huawei for this reason. TikTok's under investigation for this reason. You think the Pentagon, Wall Street, or Fortune 500s are trusting DeepSeek with sensitive data worth billions of dollars? Not a chance. So yes, AI is a gold rush, but most companies are selling shovels. Palantir, it owns the freaking mine. And this is critical to understand. Most tech companies sell products. Palantir sells power, and the US government is buying a lot. Let me make this really clear. Palantir is not just another AI stock. It is a mission-critical asset to the most powerful government on the planet. And here's a few stats for you. 73% more US customers year over year. 45% growth in the US government revenue. Used by intelligence agencies, the military, and law enforcement. Now ask yourself, why? Because when the Pentagon needs battlefield intelligence, they don't call Microsoft. When three-letter agencies need real-time data tracking, they don't use Google. When the military needed to track Osama bin Laden, Palantir was involved. This isn't just another software company selling dashboards and spreadsheets. Palantir is literally shaping military strategy, intelligence, and national security. And here's the key. Once you're embedded in government infrastructure, you don't get replaced. Palantir isn't a vendor. It's an essential component of national defense. Do you really think the US government is going to cut Palantir out and trust DeepSeek or some random AI startup? Not a snowball's chance in hell that's happening. This is why Palantir's government contracts are some of the safest, most lucrative deals in the world. And once you realize that, you stop asking if Palantir is overvalued and you start asking, how high can it go? For years, people dismissed Palantir as just a government contractor. They had no clue what was coming. Here's what's happening right now. US commercial revenue is up 63% year over year. 73% more commercial customers are signing on. Palantir's bootcamp strategy is accelerating adoption at scale. So what changed? Simple. Palantir cracked the code on corporate sales. Instead of slow bureaucratic deals, they built a sales engine that converts businesses fast. Here's how it works. Palantir runs boot camps, high-intensity hands-on workshops where companies see instant ROI. Once a business sees how much money, time, and risk they can eliminate with Palantir, they're locked in. And here's the thing, Palantir isn't just selling software, it's embedding itself into business operations. Companies start with one use case, supply chain, logistics, fraud detection, and within months, they're expanding into every department. That's why Palantir's commercial net revenue retention is over 120%. Customers don't just stay, they spend more. Meanwhile, competitors are burning cash just trying to keep up. This is no longer a government company. This is an AI infrastructure giant scaling across every major industry. And if you're still on the sidelines, you're missing the biggest business shift of the decade. Every time Palantir stock goes up, people yell overvalued. You know who never says that? People who actually make money in the market. Because here's what they don't get. Valuation is not about today. It's about future dominance. Let's look at the numbers. Palantir's PE, 537. ServiceNow, 150. Datadog, 294. Guess what? Nobody cries about ServiceNow or Datadog. Why? Because they assume those companies will keep growing. Now let me hit you with some actual facts. Palantir's profit margins are expanding fast. Gross margins are 82%, higher than most SaaS companies. Revenue is growing at 26.2% per year. That's why big money investors are buying now, not later. 120% plus net revenue retention. Customers simply don't leave, they spend more. Palantir isn't expensive because of hype, it's expensive because it's eating entire industries. Tesla had a PE of over 1,000 before it took off. Amazon was overvalued for 20 years. Early investors got filthy rich because they focused on the trajectory, not the short-term multiples. If you're still looking at the stock price instead of the monopoly it's building, you're playing the wrong game. So now you get it. Palantir isn't a hype stock. It's not overvalued. It's a once-in-a-decade opportunity. But here's the real question. How do you actually play this? Step 1, stop waiting for the perfect price. People love to say, I'll buy when it dips. Cool. And while you're waiting, smart money is loading up. Look at the AI boom. Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, they all looked expensive before they 10x'd. Palantir is in that same position right now. Step 2, Understand the long game. This isn't a stock you flip for a 10% gain. This is a 5 to 10 year hold. AI is still in the early innings and Palantir is building the infrastructure. Wall Street is always late on paradigm shifts. That's why early investors make the real money. Step 3, how I'm playing it. I'm dollar cost averaging into Palantir. I'm selling cash secured puts to buy more at a discount. And here's the truth. Palantir is one of the best positions in my portfolio, and I expect it to stay that way. Step number 4, if you think I'm wrong, short it. If you really think Palantir is overvalued, put your money where your mouth is and short the stock. I'm buying more. Mark your calendar and let's see who wins this Palantir bet in 1 year. Here's the deal, and I'm going to hit you with a little Aussie slang. Not one of you softcocks out there is going to short Palantir. You know why? Because deep down, you know I'm right. Step 5, if you want to actually make money, get in my circle. I made over $1 million in 2024 from the stock market. Not by luck, by knowing what's coming before it happens. That's why I share real-time trade alerts, my top plays, and daily breakdowns of what's hot in the market inside my Patreon. The link is in the description.